Alright guys, so you guys seem to enjoy my 3D printing videos. So I went on Amazon and I found the cheapest 3D printer that I could find. This bad boy right here, this Easy 3D. I don't know if that's actually supposed to be 3D or if maybe they misspelled thread, so it's Easy Thread. I don't really know. This bad boy was $100. So we're gonna test this thing out. We're gonna see if it's worth anything. Let's see what we got. Instructions. These I think I actually might save. I might need those. Looks like we got a sample pack of filament. That stuff's gonna be garbage, so we don't need that. We got some of that stuff. A power brick. This is way more parts than what I was anticipating. I thought this was gonna be in like 2 or 3 parts. I guess I'm gonna have to assemble this. I guess I'll assemble this and then we'll test it. Okay, so the assembly's done. I put the filament in there, got it fed through. The assembly actually wasn't as complicated as I thought it was gonna be. I probably should have just filmed it, but I thought it was gonna be much more difficult than it was. Everything literally just kind of snaps in place and then you just plug it in and everything's labeled. So it's actually not that bad. My only concern is that like everything is pretty like wobbly. Like this print head has a lot of movement in it. The bed wobbles a lot. This wobble, like everything just wobbles. So I'm not expecting the best quality. However, I also went ahead and leveled the bed. The bed leveling, I'm actually kind of impressed with because I'm sure probably some of you watching this video, I have the old style Ender 3 from Creality that you have to, has the manual bed leveling, and you have to, you have all the knobs on the bottom, and it's kind of a pain to level because you have to just like, manually move it around to level it. This one has 4 different points where you level it, and it just has 4 different buttons for each point. So whenever you want to level it, you just like push the 1. This is also a problem. This filament situation really sucks. Okay, so then it goes to the first point, and you can take a piece of paper. That feels all right. The one thing I don't really like is obviously you have to use a piece of paper as kind of like a feeler gauge to, get the pressure right. But that kind of sucks because there's no, like it's literally just by feel. Like what feels right to me might be completely wrong, and what feels right to you might be, way off. So that kind of sucks. And then you just go to level 2. Okay. And it doesn't really sound all that great. And then there's level 3, and then you just keep doing that. One thing I did notice whenever I was leveling it, it took probably like 15 minutes to get it to be like somewhat level, because I would do, I would go through all 4 points, and they would all feel just fine on the paper. I'd feel it, I'd go through all 4, I'm like, okay. And then I'd go back to 1, and then it would be off. And then I'd go back to 2, and it'd be off. And then 3 would be off. And then it was like every time I would adjust 1 point to be what I thought was perfect, it would knock another one out of whack. And I just had to slowly work my way around over and over and over and over until I got them all kind of in like a middle ground that I think is all right. So it comes with an SD card that has a test file on it. So let's try to print that. Just make sure that works. And then I'll try to load up my own file and then see if we can print anything more complex. So I should be able to just hit that. I wish this thing had a screen on it so that you could see like, what the file says or something, but it doesn't. But it's also $100, so like really what do you want? And I also saw in the instructions that the SD card, you can only put 1 file on the SD card. Or not that you can only put 1 file. Whenever you push play, it is only going to read whatever the top file is, and it's going to print that. Realistically, you can only put 1 file on there to print at a time, and you have to delete all the other ones. So that kind of sucks. But again, it's $100, what you want. Once you push the play button, it's going to blink, which it is. I think it says it takes up to a minute or something. I'm not sure what it's printing exactly. And it also looks like it's like I can as it goes back and forth, I can see the print head like bumping as it's like hitting the filament that's already put down. So maybe the bed leveling isn't that great. All right, I'm gonna let this run. I don't know how long this is supposed to take. I'm gonna let it run maybe like 15 minutes or something, and let it get a little bit more filament down, and then let's try to figure out what this thing is. I'm assuming we're about halfway done, or close to it, and I think it's gonna be a rocket ship. That's just kind of what it looks like. There may be more to it. To me, it looks like a rocket ship, and I'm actually kind of impressed with the quality. I mean, it doesn't look like it's the best quality, but it is printing something, and it's, you know, staying in alignment. So I'm honestly kind of impressed. We'll just wait. We'll see what this ends up being. All right, so we're done, and it is in fact a rocket ship. Peel that off. Okay. I also forgot to mention that this does have a magnetic bed, which is nice. So there's our little rocket ship. Let me zoom in on that for you. So overall, not bad. Whenever you look at it, as you'll see, there's like a really tough seam up the side that's just very, very rough. But other than that, the whole thing, it's not that bad for $100 and how small it is. What I want to try, first let's swap out the filament. For this next thing, we're going to need a little bit more. But I want to try to print a Benchy on this thing. I don't remember where the box is. But on the box, I did see that it said Cura, which is a slicing software. So I downloaded that and then, you know, just made a custom profile for this bed height, which is, if I didn't already say it, 100 millimeters by 100 by 100. So I just made a custom profile for that. Put a Benchy in there, and we'll see how that goes. I don't know what's happening. Oh, here we go. Okay, it'll spit some out. So I think for this one, instead of trying to wrap it around this top piece that's just a disaster, I think I'm just gonna, every so often, just walk over here and kind of unspool a little bit more. And this is just regular PLA filament and has been dried. Jeez, how much is it gonna spit out? There we go. Jeez. Pull out the old card, and there should only be one file on this new card, and then we should be able to just push it. I'm gonna be shocked if it even just like starts moving. Oh, are we really about to print this? It's working. Oh, there's like a little... Get that out of the way. I think we might actually get a boat. If it actually prints an entire Benchy, I'm going to be so shocked. All right, we'll come back in like 20 minutes maybe. We'll see how it's going. Okay, so it's doing it, kind of. Like I can, you know, it sort of kind of looks like it should. The infill, I wish I could pause it to show you. The infill is like kind of there, but it's very stringy and not really the way it should be. And I can see that the sides are looking really, really rough. I think we might get something out of this. Actually, I have two theories. I think one, we might get something out of this that sort of resembles a Benchy, or two, I think that the print head is going to get stuck on one of the infill pieces, and then it's just going to like just rip it off the bed. Guess only time will tell. All right, so the Benchy is done, kinda. Like it's physically here, but you can tell it looks like garbage. I mean, it looks like I could have done this with like one of those 3D printing pens or something. I'm actually kind of afraid that it's gonna break when I try to take it off, because it looks like Swiss cheese. I don't know how well you guys can tell, but I can literally see light through the entire thing. The whole thing just looks like Swiss cheese. Jeez. Okay, that actually came off a lot better than I thought. Man. That is so bad. It's like, it's bendy. You can just like flex the whole thing. It's almost like it just didn't use enough filament. Like maybe it was like under extruding the entire time or something. But there's not really an excuse for it to be under extruding. It's not like there's a lot of pressure here or anything. I think I'm gonna go check the slicer profile, make sure everything's normal, which it should be. And then I think I'm gonna print another one of these with the filament in this configuration, just in case, you know, maybe something about having it this way puts too much pressure on it and makes it under extrude, so we end up with this. One thing I was thinking about was maybe this printer, maybe the reason that this is the test file, maybe this is all it can print. Maybe it's not good for something as complex as this. Maybe it's just only meant for just the most simple of objects like this. That also could be a very real reality with this. So I'm gonna check the slicer profile, print another one of these, and I guess we'll see where we go from there. Okay, so here is what has transpired. After I did the boat, I went ahead and, like I said, I thought maybe that there was an under extrusion problem, and it might have been caused by having the filament in this configuration. So I went ahead and printed another little rocket thing from the test file, and it came out exactly the same as the first one. I actually don't even know which one is the first one and which one's the second one, because they look completely identical. So I don't think it has anything to do with the filament. So then I figured, okay, maybe there could be something wrong with like the G code, you know, something was wrong with the slicer software, whatever. So I looked at all that. That all looked normal. So then I decided, okay, I'll print something different. So I printed this calibration cube, which is just like a cube that has letters around it. And as you can see, it came out the exact same. It looks like a piece of Swiss cheese. If I get down here and just look, I mean, you can just see right through this thing. Yeah, I mean, this thing is just, I can see straight, like sunlight straight through it. It's just ridiculous. So, I don't really know where to go from here. Everything seems like it should be completely fine. I don't know why it produces Swiss cheese prints. I will give it a tiny bit of credit in that it does print and it does produce something that at least resembles what it's supposed to be. It could be worse. Oh, I also, after I did all that, I re-leveled the bed, which of course made no difference. Like I said, I will give it a little bit of credit because it produces something that resembles what it's supposed to be, but the quality of that print is just horrible. I mean, it doesn't even really make sense how, especially like on the walls, you know, it can do this and make the walls half decent, but when it comes to anything else, it's just Swiss cheese. I kind of think that this is a $100 printer that is pretty much just made to print little rocket ships, and that's all you're ever really going to get out of it. Is it worth $100? No, not at all. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.